This is the meeting of Prince George's County Police Accountability Board. Today's date is July 9th, 2025. Call the meeting to order at 6:32 p.m. I'll go ahead and call the roll. Process. Vice Chair Sanchez. Mr. James. Present. Mrs. Bryant. Here. Mrs. Spring.
Here.
Dr. Coleman.
Present virtually.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Melton. Present. Mr. O'Neill. Mrs. Maxwell. Mrs. Ridley. And Attorney Kansas. Thank you. All right. Also, our next agenda item, welcome and introductions. So right now, I'd like to take the time to introduce our general and new OICPA director, Ms. Bridgeford. So Ms. Bridgeford, good evening, ma'am. Would you say a few words in the microphone?
Good evening to you all. Thank you so much for allowing me to come to your meeting tonight. I know I was here 2 weeks ago virtually. You might have noticed me in the background, but I wanted to be present so that you would have a name to a face. I take on this role after serving for almost 10 years in the state's attorney's office here in Prince George's County, doing almost 15 years before that in the state's attorney's office in Montgomery County, and almost 5 years of private practice. I've been during the also Brooks and in particular the Brave Boy administration of the state's attorney's office, I was invited to be in a leadership role as a deputy and worked a lot in particular with the police departments, providing them trainings on use of force, Fourth Amendment restrictions, any legal training they actually wanted. My specialty was gang violence. So Ms. Braveboy asked me to join her administration as the new director of the Office of Integrity, Compliance, and Police Accountability, as well as IG, or Inspector General for the Prince George's County Police Department. You may have seen emails from me because it is my wish to meet with each and every member of the Police Accountability Board. I'm also meeting with each and every chief of police departments, both Prince George's County Police and the municipalities. And we'll be reaching out to community partners as well. I'm trying to understand the work. I've been reading the statute both within Prince George's County and at the state level. And I believe, and everything I've been hearing is that this is running well. I hear so many compliments in particular about the staff of both the PAB and the ACC. And when I met with Director Bennett to kind of transition, my sense is that the process is running well. There may be some tweaks here and there that we need to work on, but I want to make certain I have an opportunity to meet with everybody, talk with everybody, get everyone's input before putting pen to paper and suggesting anything. So I will be at meetings, sometimes in person or virtually. I don't intend to insert myself much in this because this is the board's meeting, and I don't want to take up too much more of your time because I know we have inclement weather approaching, as the chair already mentioned. So thank you so much. Thank you to those who have already responded. If you haven't responded, I'm going to be reaching out to you again to get those meetings on the schedule. You can do it virtually or in person, whatever works best for you.
Thank you. You said you support, so you'll be training us. You support.
Well, I've done trainings for police departments on this course.
We can do everything in-house.
Yeah, we can.
Thank you so much and welcome again. Next up is the review and the approval of minutes. Does anyone need additional time to review the minutes? Okay.
If there are, suggested edits, you want those now, or?
Yeah, so we can go ahead and make a motion to approve. I think we had it, so. You have
I
edits?
make a motion to approve subject to session.
Yes, ma'am.
So I know that, sorry, I know he's almost here. I know that, Carlo has some, that's, and so this one,
Okay,
I think
so
it's
we
like
can,
three.
okay, he did text me and say that he was going in the storm, so we can, back, table that and come back to it, if that's okay. Update from subcommittees. We'll start on the right, then we'll work our way around, so. And anybody on this side have, an update from the subcommittee? Council?
Yes. If I'm not mistaken, for the administrative hearing board subcommittee, well, sorry, the appointments subcommittee. Where we left off last was that we had presented the board last meeting, some suggested updates that we thought could be good for some of our some concerns as it relates to the code of conduct for CC, I'm sorry, AHB. And so each of you all should have an opportunity to see a printout of the language that we suggest we added, it's highlighted in yellow. One thing we would like to request is that Barbara Joe, perhaps you give us some insight on particular thing that we're adding. We wanted to sort of implement or include a catch-all that gives the board to someone at our discretion. And so we mentioned that, board members may be able without call. We don't know if that's proper, so we might be able to review. But wanted to put that before the board as we had promised, to see if you could all review, see if you agree, or have any other suggestions about changing it or altering.
Since I, two questions. And one comment, I think I mentioned this before, when we get something, I had asked if you would date it and so that we, as records, institutional records, have it on there. So whatever it is, and then once it's voted on, we'll know.
Okay.
I was just curious if you could give some insight into the without cause, the committee's thinking with that.
Sure. We wanted to explain that there are some obvious issues that can come up with board members who would obviously be identified, such as conflicts of interest, conduct detrimental, unethical behavior, right? But we didn't want it to be limited to that. And so, not that we would be interested in removing board members for no reason or without cause, we just didn't want it to seem that it was inclusive of all of the reasons moved. And somehow be like, well, you didn't tell us you could be removed, we could be removed for another reason that's not stated.
Well, I think, and I won't read some others, but you also say including, but not limited to,
Right.
which does make including.
Okay,
What's in here, so I
Yeah.
think you do cover
okay.
yourself with respect to that.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, that first
I'm a little,
clause doesn't necessarily
I'm
need.
a little concerned, but
Okay,
I was trying to think in my mind, what would be an example from you all's discussions, whoever's on the committee, without cause,
okay.
that came up. I didn't, if it was because you wanted to make sure it was broad,
Right.
that's different.
To add to it, I think part of the question too is like trying to be consistent with what the hiring practices are. Generally, across the county, Maryland, DC, I think it's pretty standard. Or my understanding is pretty standard for like at will.
We are at will.
Thing, so I think that's also part of what we're thinking here, be consistent with what hiring practices are generally. And if we do have the ability to, or the authority of dismissal, and like keeping it simple there, I think we're fine.
Just stay consistent with
Yeah.
what's already.
And I appreciate that, but I will make a distinction between employment and board.
Fair, yeah, yeah.
So, and we are at will stated, so I'm totally agree with that. But here,
Yeah.
if your purpose was to make sure broader than what was listed, I think you did that.
Okay.
Without it.
Yeah, okay,
That was. the purpose.
okay, thank you.
Any other feedback, comments, or suggested changes?
Good.
Yes, sir.
One of the things I would recommend is that, if it is a removal, I would suggest we use something that's greater than just the majority. So something that was at least a 3/4. I think it should be absolutely clear and not a majority. So I would suggest something greater than that. For me, 3/4 board for that to happen would be what I would recommend.
Mr. James, I'm right, so you're suggesting. What is it?
I'm suggesting at least 3/4 of the board. Because the way I read it right now, it just implies a majority, and I'm just saying, I would raise the threshold to remove someone to be a higher than just majority.
Well, we,
If you have an issue with that, please speak up now, because I think when we vote, I would love for us to vote to add this with amendments that have been discussed. But if there's no issue, move on to any other thing. Mrs. Franklin.
I was just saying, where will we add the majority? And so I guess when we do it, we brought to the table. So when we say that it would come to the board anyway, that we're saying that we would discuss it with the board, it would be a majority, it would be 3/4 of who's here, of the, like, so when we do it, make sure that we're clear on what that majority would be. So is we have a meeting, have a majority of people here, it could be 3/4 of that, would be 3/4 of the board, everybody had to vote.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't our rules of procedure explain how we handle authorities for those?
it does, but I think her question is still clear with respect to this. So whether or not it's all members or those president voting with it.
For this particular.
And it's just ensures.
And what I'm saying is 3/4 of the board,
That's what
not of the president, I'm saying
Yeah.
3/4 of the board.
Okay.
I want
the reason
6
why-
people to make
The
the
reason
decision.
I asked, I thought it's set the standard whenever.
For when you vote.
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
so.
But, and I do want to say, with respect to something like this, I tend to want it all in where it is.
Okay.
So you don't have to go look somewhere else to see what that means. So if you want it to be 3/4 of all those 4 members, it just can be used, so anybody looking sees it within the 4 walls. If that's what you want.
But if we're talking about the procedure as well, that would probably have to go into this document, because this paragraph is out of the code of conduct that the HB members read when they get on them. So this isn't necessarily like a governing document for us. So if we're setting a standard for what a vote should be and what a threshold we need, then probably is a simple enough tweak to like adding a line under voting. Section.
And it is, but I think it should be both places, so anybody seeing this document and
The rules.
and in the rules of procedure, it's there. Not either. But, yeah, I mean, it's just, since you wrote it.
Anything else?
So just for clarity, we're talking about removing the removal bond and then adding 3/4 where that, how would that read? Where would that read?
There,
Are you,
since I don't have the full document in front of me, but I think there might be a section where it might be better, where it's more applicable to put it there. I think there's a section that talks about, basically, if you're not doing your responsibilities and duties, that might be a good place to put it, but if not, then it would be in this paragraph.
So if you want, if then come back next time can just look at it
Okay.
and then put it and make that as a recommendation. I'm just saying the substantively, people are. Okay.
Got two other.
Are we trying to amend our rules and procedures?
No, just the code of conduct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, initially with the AHB, there were just gaps where we just felt like as a board, wanted to have more specificity, clarity around appointments, removals, just sort of guardrails around the AHB, so. when
So
we
I'm
looked
trying
at
to
the code of
fashion a
conduct-
motion. So we want to amend the code of conduct?
Yeah, we did that last week, we talked about, we're gonna make amends to it. Come this week, this meeting, and present some of the changes for, the board's opinion and perspective.
So
And
I'm
I-
saying, I want to make a motion.
And I think it can come from, you don't think, I think you can, they're making it and then.
We have to make this round of minutes.
And to give people, I think, that one of the content.
Chair, that would be my request to the other committee, is that we get this in advance so we can read this. It's hard to digest it and give you really good feedback in just a matter of seconds. So if we can get it in advance so that we can be prepared to provide that feedback, I think it would help expedite getting it done.
Agreed.
For purposes of, can pick a date, so. This is not,
Their subcommittee, I tell them what to do.
what date?
So what is the question, the date that they receive it or the date they want feedback?
I think the question is the date that they want to receive it, so that we look at it, then, but that's why they. Yes, sir.
So my recommendation is typically we get the agenda on the Monday before the meeting. If it can be in those read ahead materials, then that's more than enough time sufficiently to look.
But
Yep.
So
What date is that?
barring that the next meeting, of course, is a chief's meeting. So that may not be ideal. So it may be pushed off to August.
Yeah, I would say Lafayette, whenever, because your, my suggestion would be whenever you can do it, I would say the same thing. It's that way, if you get it pushed out, it's there, might not whenever next meeting, nobody can say, hey, we did. So whenever you're able to do it, push it out, as long as it's for what you suggest, I think it's gonna be better. But
The August, I think, well, that. That was,
Well,
if it's the August, then I'm sorry, August. I can't read
23rd.
the 11th, it would be Monday, the 11th. That
Oh,
is to have, to 11th.
I'll have this to people in a couple of days.
it'll be
What's the date?
Barring any other feedback from anybody else in the subcommittee, it's not just me. So if I can have it in a couple of days. So the question really would be, if people want to send me feedback, what date that is.
Right.
So August 12th is the meeting date. So yeah, it could be, Friday before that.
Friday for August 12th would be the 8th.
Any changes by August?
Yes. Said any changes by August 8th, correct? Yeah. Okay.
And then if you get back, the package and August 12th.
Said August 12th, that Monday or Tuesday.
The Monday.
I thought that would be the 11th.
Oh, I'm sorry.
so just for my clarification, can we state exactly what's going on, what we're doing? Before that,
So I want to make sure that the subcommittee
I'm good
gives
with-
feedback and feel like they have, a role in putting any edits that we put together. As soon as that's done, and I will share with staff, we will share with the rest of the board, we'll have up until.
August 8th.
Yeah, that's on August 8th. To give me any feedback or suggestion. When it comes to the meeting of that week, we should have a copy of what has been revised. Put out together. Send it to each to vote.
Okay. Oh, thank you. That. Good.
The, subcommittee that was recommended for the chief's meeting questions in the previous meeting. What I did was put together some proposed questions, which you also can take a look at. Obviously, you're getting it today, so see one more time. Take a look, but also think about additional questions that you don't see here that you think would be something that you would want to put before the board. You can send those to staff, who can send it to me, and I can consolidate into a grand list. We can make our decisions about that. If the chief's meeting is
Next week.
One second.
yeah, so if it's the 23rd, we can't wait till the meeting. I need to be able to find some way of agreeing on those questions prior to the meeting so that we have it prepared. If we also would like to have a cadence for who asks what, probably be a good time to do that well before the meeting.
How about a date of the 17th, July, which is that Thursday, and that way it gives you that Friday to kind of maybe contact anyone else if you got any questions.
Well, I would hope, I provided 8, so I would hope you all will let me know
Okay,
what your, suggested revisions or additional questions would be. Do we have a set number we feel comfortable with? Is it about 10 or?
yeah, second for 10, but it's dependent again on the LEAs that we're meeting with, that we may have, but I think if you put a threshold of 10, that's it, maybe, follow-up questions based off of some data that we have, may come in. So, right, so that works.
And again, I'm not married to any of these. These were some things that crossed my mind.
I think in terms of dates, I think if we have recommendations and feedback, sending them by the 14th, which is this coming Monday, so that they can be consolidated and recirculated by the 17th, like we're talking about, so that we can make a final decision, makes the most sense, because I think, like, if we have recommendations, those have to be submitted, then you have to get them, incorporate them, and we have to actually decide if that's what we want to do. So there's like 2 deadlines we have to have.
Okay.
Or it could be the 14th, 21st.
So let's agree on the date now. So what day did you say?
Yeah.
What day did you say?
Also, the fire marshal did. Question.
Mr. Jones?
I think the 14th for any recommendations we might have on these questions or additions. And then that gets consolidated then on the 17th and finally December at the.
Okay. So everyone heard that? We can play it? Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna do 10 questions, and you guys will choose the questions once we send them to you, or we're coming back to discuss them. Because if every member submits maybe 2, and we're over the 10 threshold, how will we start?
In my eyes, I was ideally hoping we could find some consensus about the 10.
Okay.
Which, may realistically require a short meeting to do that, but we're not in a position to do a meeting prior to the chief's meeting, that there will have to be some level of, delegation of the selection.
Okay.
To say, if on the 17th, like, if the final, like, if the compilation of everything is set in the morning, we meet for an hour in the evening or the afternoon to discuss it, so that we can take a vote and approve. I think, because I agree, I think we probably have to like to discuss it. Or assign a subcommittee responsibility to discuss that to.
I think that trust the subcommittee to do it, I think. Because if we continue to do that, it'll go on. So I think that we should, trust the subcommittee on regular, so just to go ahead and do it that way.
My suggestion would be if we're gonna do that, we'll do that by the 16th.
16,
Because that gives the subcommittee, whoever meets,
Oh,
the
I see what you're saying.
17th.
Right, right, right.
It can be in the morning, you know, schedule, or whatever it is,
Right, okay.
if you guys have a question.
So, okay, I got it, okay. Okay, so we're clear with that. Okay.
Just want to mention, I got a notice to tornado.
Um, Okay, so, want to make sure everyone's safe. Okay, so, thank you. Again. Sorry, Mr. Jones, subcommittee updates, anyone else?
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Bryant?
So the outreach committee, I think I've been today. Yeah, so we've had, Mr. O'Neill and I have. Second. And we have some recommendations. I know, it's microphones.
Oh,
So I have to turn on. I'll speak in my outside voice. Okay. So the committee recommends that an annual calendar of events be created, established. So that, each of us can, sign up for community events so that we can just events that board members can select, such as the coffee circles, and these should be pre-approved so that there's no question that we are allowed to do them. Coffee circles, and our recommendation is that there's at least one coffee circle per month. There's like 8 of them. So we'll rotate and then until we get to all of them. We'll have briefs from municipalities in conjunction with our, meetings with the chiefs of police. So, the chief of those municipalities. So for instance, we're meeting with District Heights, in this quarter, then we'll meet with District Heights Board of, Chair.
Municipal councils.
Yes, with them before we meet with the chiefs so that we can understand what their concerns are.
Ms. Brown, sorry, is there a way that we can, I'm listening, trying to take notes, but is there a way to get some of this?
I submitted this document, I think I sent you all an email, maybe no, I sent it to the committee member too. So. Yeah, I thought it. I'll print it.
no.
No, I'll send it to the committee member. And, yes, so I will forward this. to
No,
you.
thank
Ms. Bryant, because I'm taking, for the first one, on the annual calendar, the fiscal year calendar.
This is a calendar, no, at the beginning of each fiscal year.
Thank you, July.
Each fiscal year, that's it. Thank you. I don't know if we could talk about that, but.
You said pre-approval by who? The board?
So that's the question, because, when at the last meeting, we discussed whether we need pre-approval to go and do. It's very difficult to do that, especially, so that's later on in my report, but later, when there are pop-up events that we don't have a whole lot of lead time to decide. It's either you trust the committee to do, to spread the word, say, here's the opportunity. Can we do it? Somebody got to sign up and make it available for for members to go when there is a public there. The members of the public are present. We should be able to distribute literature to them. Period. I don't feel there should be an objection to that, but that's up to discussion. But, so that's what the term pre-approval, that's why I said that. So, but the other ones, like the municipalities, et cetera, those should be scheduled so that they'll know we're coming, and we can all sign up for that. but there are pop-up events that happen. We should be able to take literature to the public. I don't see a negative in that. The NAACP, the National Council of Legal Women, the unions, the PG County Board, the Chamber of Commerce. We have connections with those organizations. We should be able to give them briefs because they have large membership of the public of Prince George's County. We should be able to do that. And we can set up a schedule. I provided, Tangi with a list of organizations and points of contact so that she can say, hey, we're available. We want to speak to your group. Tell us when your meetings are or when you'd like to have us come speak. That's what we recommend. The Mako and MML and the NACO event, where you go there, you make a presentation about what we're doing, and then bring back to the committee, the board, whatever feedbacks or recommendations or new trends that they recognize in police accountability.
Or what she's saying is just like, We do these-
Microphone.
if we, just like we talking about the questions. If we do what she's talking about, we get questions that, from these meetings, that we can put in that question when we ask the next chief meeting. Because it's not coming specifically us, but what we got going out into the community. So it gives us some questions so they could answer it, and that's basically what we're talking to.
So also there's, a Ms. Johns of the PG County Coalition for Police Accountability that proposed, organizing a meeting, with the PAB in response to the report by the PAB members who attended the MML. And I'm not aware of what that is, but, we, our community of members would love the opportunity to hear the law enforcement perspective on issues involving the community. And you would benefit from hearing the impacted community. So they're interested in organizing that type of meeting with the coalition for police accountability. I don't know. I've not been aware of that organization before. But I think that's a no-brainer. These are my recommendations. And also in the event of, a council member or elected official has a pop-up event, we can, avail ourselves of the opportunity to distribute literature and introduce ourselves, without prior approval of the board and without compensation, if that's an issue with the budget. So we go there, Mr. O'Neill and I have done that in the past, where you go there and say, hey, if you're members of the Police Accountability Board, here's some information about the board and what we do. Here's some literature on the desk, and that's what we do. You don't have to be paid for that. That's what we accepted as a challenge when we became a board. Those who don't want to do, like those who are available. At least once a year, coordinate a community-wide event to include the IG, law enforcement, community leaders, and PAB board members in the fall. Probably October, September, October, or even in March, when people are in school. Or at a library or other community building, and bring everybody together. Similar to what the coalition of police accountability is talking about. Bring everybody together. Let's all be in the same room. We talked about that in the past. I mean, I suggested having a room out about that. I know that's kind of outside of our spectrum, but at least once a year, do a community event. And we can use the staff and find ourselves to coordinate that. Each board member should reach out to their respective neighbors, friends, and colleagues to request that they take the PAB survey that was developed by the staff and provide those details. use your connections to get information from them in terms of what do you think? Do you know about the PAB? Do you know, what is your opinion of the policing in Prince George's County? And get that information back so we'll have more data points. And finally, continue to schedule ride along with the law enforcement. That's, I think, the way ahead. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot. And it has to be spread around. It can't just be for one or two people. I think somebody has a question here. She can.
Good evening, board. I'm Bernadette Trowell, Division III CAC President, Citizens Advisory Council. I just want to piggyback on what you're saying. That's very, very important. We would love to have you all come out and tell us some of your ideas and information about what you do about police accountability. I'm on the CAC board for the Division III Police Department, but I'm also on the Chiefs Advisory Council. And I'm also on CPAAA, Alumni Association. So we citizens of the community would love to hear what you all are doing about the police accountability. I had my first experience last month that a police officer that came on the scene of the incident that actually had me sign a paper saying, can I get your statement about how we conducted this particular incident? And I said, you mean to tell me they're actually having you all have us say something? I was tickled to death. And I've been in this community 56 years over here in Kentland, Columbia Park. And let me tell you something. I've seen my residents treated the worst of worse. So I was so proud to see that happen. So that means you guys have really been doing something over there, okay? So I want to commend you.
Thank you. Ma'am, can I get your name again, please?
Yes, it's Mrs. Bernadette Trowell, Division III. I live right here on Columbia Place. I have 2 properties on this street. I've been here for 56 years.
Thank you for the compliment, and we will definitely reach out. So can you do me a favor? Would you send a private message to the PAB with your contact information, please, your email and your.
I can put it in your chat if you like.
Well, we want to make sure that all of the people that may be on the call that are viewing, the public, we don't know what your information of this.
Oh, okay.
So what we'll do is we'll have somebody shoot you a message.
Okay.
Respond to that.
Okay, because you have what I registered to be invited to this.
Okay.
So I
we'd like to
see.
get it directly.
Okay, please
Thank
do.
you so much. So would somebody send her a direct message now? So
Okay, thank you.
got her information. Oh, thank you, man.
Okay, I'll sign off.
Thank you. You don't have to sign off.
Okay, I'll just.
Put it on mute.
Yeah, with that beautiful.
Oh, I can't hear.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. I got, okay.
Thank you so much for that.
Cash.
Like, we saw you lean
You're on
forward,
mute,
like you're
ma'am.
trying to listen. We're saying it. Thank you so much.
What you
I'm sorry,
want?
James, go ahead.
It's on, appreciate the committee's work. I think that, what you've offered is very aggressive. I have to be very honest, to the point of too much. I would simply say, there are 4 quarters in a year, pick something in each quarter. Because right now we're in a rocking chair, and now you want us to run a marathon, and I just don't think that that's going to happen. So let's figure out what we can do, get it on the calendar, so that the board members can figure out where they can fit in and participate in those events. But trying to do too much will clearly lead to burnout and low to no participation. And that's kind of what I see now. So I would recommend to the subcommittee to look at the calendar, figure out quarterly where are some events to attend, and make those the major components. And as we're able to build up, maybe we can take on more, but this right here just seems like way too much, and it will absolutely lead to burnout
And
and no participation.
Yeah, and
Well,
the
there are
other,
11 of us.
and the other thing I would say too is, if you have an idea, you've identified March or October, like probably let's lock in a date for October and start planning now, because 3 months disappears just like that too. And so if you're talking about all these other events and everything else, plus planning an event, I'm guessing that we would host,
Yeah.
then that's a big lift. And so I would say potentially by August, if you guys come back with dates that we can start working with for October and next March, if those are sort of the windows that you've identified, that way we give ourselves enough lead time to really be able to, organize, prepare, advertise, and everything else.
Yes, sir.
My other comment is, I read this and there's, for me, an assumption of things to hand out and information. I got this flyer, but it presumes that we have something to hand out, something to do with these events. And I don't know where it is. I don't know what it is, but I think that has to be addressed. If you're going to do these events and you're going to hand out, what is it that you're handing? And to me, that's presumed, but I have not seen that and know what it is.
So
So
what,
that needs to probably be developed.
okay, so what I'm talking about is, yes, the flyer, but also, we probably don't have a brochure that talks about the structure of the police accountability board, which includes the ACC and the,
HB.
yes. And also, the ways to contact us and the ways to make, like, all of those, as well as, points of contact. How do you do it? Where does it go? We need to develop a brochure that does that. And this does some of that. This does some of it. But, we also have a presentation that we have in case we do get an opportunity to speak. That explains all of it, but there should be a holdover 3-part brochure that has a lot of that information. That we have in our presentation.
And also what I think, I'm sorry, Mr. Jones, please. Also, what I was thinking too, is that, I see that the QR code is here, we can develop our own QR code, to exactly point them to where we want, and the survey can be included in that, things like that, so, I'd like to see something like that developed as well, too, but, and I agree that we need to know what we're handing out, and what it is actually saying, and if we do want to hand out that information. No, we do have a presentation, but like you said, it may be a community pop-up during the summertime, so we'll not be able to make a presentation, but having a leaflet or some literature, as you said.
So I think the brochure would be basically what's on our presentation. It's like a synopsis of that. Wanted to be paper, not that hard.
Oh.
And just talks about what we do, who we are, and the basis of it, and how you.
But, okay, and I think that's a good thing, so maybe you guys can develop something like that, bring it back for us to take a look at.
Also, I just did our QR code and it's not bad.
Okay.
Once you do the website, and it was laid it out, so that's what everybody's doing. So where you
Exactly.
order food, the QR code, so I don't know if there's feelings to do that. I know we really have that time, effort, or to do that, but I think this is a good starting point.
Okay, so that's what I didn't
That's what
know.
I'm saying, that's what.
No, I did the QR code, so I did the QR code, I just did it.
Okay, thank you. So I didn't know, so if everything is within that QR code,
I feel like we do, just, I looked to staff answer this question, but I feel we do have some degree of like paper pamphlets, and like I've done events before with, I think we have already some material that speaks to who we are, what we do, and that kind of stuff.
Okay, so do we have any available this evening? So everyone can get one? Okay, so we'd like to get that.
Something more than this?
And then I'll also just add National Night Out also, is coming up, so like.
What's the, August 2nd?
Yeah.
Fifth.
Yeah, so pick your
Yes.
dates, pull up.
Pull up, okay.
That's a really good point. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you.
What does that look like? I saw that. I mean, I would go.
Okay,
That's what I
so there were only 4 people who signed up, 4 board members that signed up for that. So are you all,
No, my question to be clear, I didn't sign up, I saw it, but I didn't know what exactly I'm signing up for.
oh, you've not done the national night?
I've done it for myself, but as a
Oh.
PAB member, what
Okay.
exactly are we expected to do? That's
So
why I
that
didn't
means
sign
that
up.
you go there, there are 2 sites that we've selected. One's at,
Hillcrest Heights.
Pond, Allen Pond, and the others at
Hillcrest Heights.
Hillcrest Heights. Those are the 2 that we're
Right.
gonna do. So staff will have a table there if we decide to do it. Staff will have a table with our information and handouts. And we will be there introducing ourselves, talking to people, talk to the public. And we don't do a presentation, we just talk to the crowd.
Just chop it up.
Have a table.
You have a table, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a question. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That was-
last year they did, the whole PAB, went up on stage.
Yeah, they went on stages on a couple of places. But it's just simply being there, being in the community, wear your shirt, say, I'm that, I'm this kind of,
I
yeah.
don't know about that, so for me, like, when I've done it, for it me being actually a person, so I know you mean like with my shirt and then interact with people and ask me questions versus what you're saying is have a table. Because you know, National Night Out is very interactive, hands-on, so like going on, so, but you're saying to be there as a table and see if they have
It's
questions.
pretty low weight. It's like,
It is.
we kind of just hover around the table.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I'm asking everybody to come out, participate either at one of the locations. I mean, it should be more of us than staff. I mean, this is an opportunity to really get to the community.
Sure.
So-
I mean, personally, for me, I usually go to like 3 or 4 around
Yeah,
where I
exactly.
live. So,
That's what I'm saying.
so to me, that's kind of the, and I, where you've picked, right? Like, so for me, I'm like, if I live in the northern part of the county, then I feel like I'd be more effective wearing my shirt, maybe getting some stuff and just going and. So that's why I didn't necessarily sign up.
Sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
We had a grant, for advertising the PAB, on buses.
Yes, ma'am. So I think we do have some literature that, and I'm not gonna speak out of turn, but I do think that, excuse me, I do think that we do have the literature that grant money purchased. So I do think that we have some of that stuff available. So, that's why I think that Ms. Allen is going to get that. So we do. But I think what the question and concern here is that when we are actually on the ground in the community, what is it that we have to get to the residents and citizens, to let them know that we're here and, answer some questions. One of the things I think, and I thank you, Mrs. Spring, for pulling up the QR code and saying that it's everything that's there, so we don't need to do that, but yeah, I think that, once we get the material, at the meeting, we can take a look at it and make a decision. So I think that the grant that was awarded did purchase those type of materials for us to be out in the community.
And I'd like to make a recommendation that we, create a magnet that has people can attach their fridge.
Good point. So we have
Yeah.
a dollar cost for that,
I mean, I don't know.
right? So, if we're out and if everybody is with a phone, so we just scan.
Giveaway.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Well, I think, that's number one. Everybody, I think Tangi gave us the 2 that she was gonna have paid. Now, if Carlos, you're gonna be at the one where you live at, we want you to get some literature and take it there. If you're gonna be in your neighborhood, they ain't gonna come to them too. We just need the stuff to get out. Those was basic one where she was gonna have the main station. If you do the night out, take some stuff with you. Whatever that be, you know what I mean? That's all it is.
Right.
You ain't gotta go where she's going at. I mean, I know the Hillcrest close to my house. If it's close to your house, get some of this stuff and take with you.
I think people are just looking for clarity from us. What is it, the expectation of attending? And I think last year had, this clarity that it is beneficial to go to on in your
Your
community. Like you said, I go to several of them, I try to make as many as I can. So what's like you said, wherever you can go, it's great, but understanding that the staff, those who maintain, make that part of our schedule, that would be great.
Yeah, it just takes some literature, this literature with you, no, that's.
Keep what I did.
I'm sorry, sorry. Okay, so thank you for that.
Take two.
Okay.
One English, one Spanish. That's why I get everybody to a sheet, one English, one Spanish.
Okay. Thank you.
So that's our report.
Thank you, Mrs.
So we do got literature.
All right.
Does everybody have one now?
Yes.
Everybody have one?
Coming down,
Everybody.
coming around. Jack's coming around.
You got one, Mr.
Okay,
Day?
have it.
And then these two, give some of those two.
Jack?
So we got the material, we just.
One of these, that what it is.
Yes, sir, sorry.
So you received a copy of the legislation and recommendation subcommittee report for July 9th. I won't go through the entire report. You can definitely feel free to read through it. The highlight that I would bring to your attention is that we have the letter that was approved at the last meeting to go out to the agencies regarding final disciplinary outcomes has gone out to about 6 agencies. We have 5 more that need to go through, so we're just scrubbing through that data, but those will be done by Friday. And their requested date is mid-August to get those back. We've started to get some back, so the turnaround is pretty easy. We set it up very simply for them, fill in 1 column. So as we get those together, the goal right now, again, we'll get a mid-August deadline date. The subcommittee will meet that 3rd Thursday in August, and then our anticipation is to present a report to the full board at the 2nd meeting in September. So that's the timeline as far as the information going out, return, and then when we anticipate reporting back to the board on the disciplinary outcomes. So you have the complete report. If you have questions regarding any of those things, feel free to ask. Our next meeting is going to be on Thursday, July 17th.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
And I failed to say that the outreach committee meeting will be on the first Wednesday at 6:30.
Thank you, Mr. James. Dr. Coleman, do you have anything, man? I didn't forget you. I looked up and I saw it. I was like, oh, let me ask Dr. Coleman. Do you have anything to report out there?
No report from the data subcommittee, and sorry about that. I just lost power and it just came back on, so.
Need somebody to pay the bill? Okay, glad to see you again. All right. Then you guys said the subcommittees.
Chair.
Yes, oh, yes.
We could be to business, I just remind that we started.
Yep, I was headed there. See, great minds think about it. Yeah, I was thinking of, so we'll go back to that. Oh, okay. So, picking back up, we thank you, Mr. Jones, for that, everybody. We're going to, table, the minutes, so we can go ahead and, about the minutes now. All right. Does anyone need additional time reviewing besides Dr. Phil? Said anything, so I don't think they do. For those. Oh, thank you. I'm passing that. Oh. Okay. Motion to adopt the minutes made by Mr. Jones. Did I hear a second? Oh, I thought so, okay.
Who did that?
Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Jones, he made a motion to approve, it was second, thank you, so, Mrs. Bryant. So, everyone, hopefully you heard that, okay. Motion made to approve, all in favor?
Discussion.
Oh, sorry. Discussion. Yes, sir, Mr. James.
So I had some edits and I sent them in advance to staff so they can capture these, but I'll try to go through them really quickly, on the first page, there's a bullet at the bottom, closeout of 2023 recommendations. I'm just inserting that those are the 2023 annual report recommendations, so that that's clear under the legislation and recommendation subcommittee.
I'm sorry, read that one more.
So we
time.
insert the words annual report after 23,
Okay,
so that it would read closeout of the 2023 annual report recommendations as action items. That's where it's there. For the second one, it's pursue amending, and the insert would be the county bill to include the provisions of Senate Bill 533. So it's not pursue amending Senate Bill 533. It's, we're trying to amend the county bill so that it has the provisions of the Senate bill. To include them. The way it reads right now is that we're trying to amend the Senate bill.
right, we can do that.
Right, exactly, that, so I wanted to clarify that one as well. Yep,
Say it one more time.
sure. So the second bullet under legislation and recommendation subcommittee would read, pursue amending the county bill to include the provisions of, and then it would go Senate Bill 533.
Can I, you can read.
I got them all already in the email, so we
No,
can,
no, it's a question
okay,
on the first one.
yep.
Close out the annual report as an action item.
The 2023 annual report recommendations as action items.
Close out 2023 annual report recommendation. So you just added 2 words after that.
Annual report.
Right, it's just, those are where they came from. Those are the 2023 annual report recommendations. We had some action items where we were just closing those out and we were taking no further action. I was just clarifying that it was the 2023 annual report recommendations. The second page, about halfway down, it starts, the board discussed the importance of capturing decisions. I just changed that to the chair recommended. I think there was a request to say, hey, have you looked at the AHB decision? So I don't think the board discussed it, but it was a suggestion by the chair that we look at the AHB
So you want the
decision.
language
So
to read-
I'm striking the board discussed the importance of and replacing that with the chair recommended capturing decisions when officers appeal to the administrator. So I'm recommending striking the board discuss the importance and replace that with the chair recommended. That tracking, I apologize, a little further up, it's a small one. Legislation and recommendation subcommittee will continue finalizing their operating procedures. Just want to clarify that. Just notice that one. So it's changing the to their. And there are some references, and I would say that it talks about the attachments, but we don't have those attachments. So in previous meetings, when we referenced attachments, we've included them, and so they weren't included here. You even make mention of it being included in the meeting minutes, so I think we just need to make sure.
You still on the second page?
I apologize, no, I had a note down
Oh,
there
okay, got
because
it.
it referenced attachments. So in
Nice,
general, we
okay.
referenced attachments, but they weren't there. And then on page 4 for me, about 3/4 of the page down, the chair advised participation of the board and staff for the MACO and NACO conferences have been suspended. I don't recall MACO being mentioned at all. So I just thought that was added in. I do recall NACO, but I didn't recall both being there in that discussion.
I thought that. At the last meeting. Excuse me. I thought he said, Mako at the last meeting.
You thought he said MACO?
Uh-huh.
Okay, then it would only be one. It wasn't, there was no conjunction. There weren't two. I don't recall two being discussed. So if you're saying it was MACO,
I said all, maybe I misunderstood. I thought he named a people. I thought he said we go for everybody.
And I think there was. I was
I would say
told
those
that
are
there
recorded.
was some, but I was told that there was some difficulty.
Because I think that's what it
But
is.
that was.
And not only that, but does the chair have the authority to cancel, policies?
So.
We're still on minute, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the.
What it reflects.
and then for me,
Say that again, Mr. James, so I'm writing it down.
Again, for me, I struck Mako, because I did not
Mako.
recall Mako being stated in that meeting. I definitely don't recall it being two, so I don't, there was no conjunction to say both, so.
Okay.
If you're saying it was Mako, it wasn't NACO, then one of them has to come out, because only one was discussed.
Okay, okay.
And then under the board member Ridley, excuse me, board member Ridley, the second bullet, I would add in after file complaints in person. I think that was the gist of it, and I think that that's what we want to capture, person seeking.
Second bullet.
That second bullet there, the gist is whether person seeking to file complaints in person. I think that was the gist of it, not just file complaints. I think the gist was to file, and I would insert in person there. And then, can only file, that can only make complaints of, file. Like, that's what, but yeah, but in person, I think was what was talked about, discussed, and intended there.
Okay. Okay. Did it?
Those are,
That's cool.
yeah.
Chair,
So did everyone,
was our understanding that the co-chair had some.
Oh.
I think.
I think they actually, looking at the minutes, they were,
Oh,
yeah, they were incorporating, so thank you.
we were waiting.
I told
I appreciate it, thank you, just to make sure that we're.
all right, so with those, oh yeah, those edits, then, James? Anyone else? All right,
I would just say, I think procedurally, we'd have to vote down.
Correct.
Current motion and then do a new
Correct.
motion to adopt the minutes as amended.
okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt.
They already got one.
Yeah,
we're
so
still-
take a vote, we all have to vote no, and then someone else will make a motion
To
to amend.
approve the session, okay. All in favor to amend the minutes prior to the amended item?
We just taking a vote
Vote
on
on
the motion that was already there.
Oh, the motion, okay.
Yeah, like,
Okay, so-
we have to vote, I made a motion to approve the
And then
minutes.
she said, okay,
That's
so,
what-
So we have to vote no on that.
all right, so all in favor?
No.
No.
Against, okay, well, please let me ask. a question.
Yeah, I forgot.
You just, no, all right, so motion fails.
I move to adopt the minutes as amended.
Motion to adopt the minutes, as amended, with amendments made by Mr. Jones, seconded by Mrs. Bryant. All in favor to adopt the minutes with the amendments, oh,
Just question before that, which one is going into the minutes? Is it Mako or NACO?
oh,
That's what I just wanna know.
thank you for that. So I thought it was. I have to go back, I thought.
Should we have made the motion to approve, want to find out exactly what it is? Can we go back to it?
You still have.
He knows what he said.
Well, I'm trying to remember.
Are you trying to?
Yeah, I'm trying to say, number one, I wasn't here last.
Is there a question?
Yeah, question. So we're saying we suspending it, whichever one it is. Until we get approval by the county officials, is that what that is saying?
Ain't that what it said? I didn't know.
That's what that.
That's what it said, but for right now.
Oh, but
y'all
it's-
do it.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you can bring that after the vote.
For the next.
But that's where, hold up, that's again, guys, let's stay on, let's
Let's
stay on
say
track.
minutes, and then we can bring that up in
We'll
the
come back.
conversation.
Sorry,
Does it make a difference which one you're talking about?
that's why we're trying to. do that then.
Because one of them
It's just saying.
is not funded by the county.
Oh, that, I did, right, okay. Thought I said Nico. I'd have to. look.
I would say, it came to my, as I was reading it, I go through my notes 100% say NACO.
Okay,
There's no mention of Mako. They say NACO. There's no conjunction, so absolutely both were not said.
okay,
Okay, you said they go on you, that's what you got,
Yep.
okay, so we gonna go with that.
okay.
Okay, so, go ahead, there's no need to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead, you made it.
There you go.
Okay. I know it is.
All right, so
You made.
they call it is, so, okay, okay, thank you. So, vote is on, all in favor to amend, to approve the minutes with the amendments with the word NACO. Say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining? Okay, I work two. So, Mr. Jones is abstaining and Mr. O'Neill is abstaining. All other members are in favor. Dr. Coleman, you can give us the thumbs up, ma'am, sorry, or thumbs down. Okay, good, thank you. All right. Thank you, Mrs. Spring. All right. Next up on the agenda, annual report. I think we were going to talk about gathering some data, and this is where I'll talk to, Dr. Coleman as well to get some of, the data ones that she has to try to look at, mid-year review of the annual report, to start looking at some of the data and how we want to, structure the annual report moving forward, so we can start gathering it now, and maybe after the next meeting, chief meeting, we can kind of talk about what that's like.
As part of our annual report, our annual report, we are charged with doing an analysis of final outcome.
Talk a little loud.
We are charged with analysis of the final outcomes of cases.
Mhm.
And we don't have that information.
We have the final outcome,
Um,
well, of the cases so far, there may be some pending, I don't know, we have to ask, Dr. Coleman and the staff about the final outcomes. She's received that data
We,
from the staff.
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, ma'am.
No, I was just asking a clarifying question. Are we talking about the data from last year's report or data thus far?
That's one issue.
From this year? So the Ebony would have more, probably could clarify this better than myself, but there's data that are collected at certain points. And so I think like this is the cutoff point, like June or so would be the cutoff point for this year so far. And then we would continue, those data would continue to be collected. And then we would have it for the annual report. But like I said, Ebony could clarify that. So if you guys want to see data thus far, we can get that and do some presentations. I mean, it's the halfway point, but we could put that together. And then we could even put it together as we would do it in the annual report, just give you like a snapshot.
Yes, but part of our mandate is that we review the final results and analyze what the trends are, et cetera.
But do you have access to any other cases to look at some of that
The
stuff?
end of the final results,
Right,
no.
okay. Okay.
Okay, but. Okay, but, do we have the opportunity to board to discuss it and review
Yeah, so we can ask the subcommittee to provide that information at an upcoming meeting again. I think that by being in mid-year, I think this would be a great time to compile that data.
it? Okay, but even from last year's report, what the final outcome is, the people who filed, an appeal with the AHP, do we know what happened?
So that's why I think in the note, the minutes, I did make that recommendation, to get that information, to capture that. But, as speaking to 2024, I think that right now we're focusing on this year capturing that data. And we can provide that to you. So it sounds like you're asking two questions. What about 2024, and last year's data, and then this year's data? And I think that once we get full report, we can compare it to last year's But
Well,
right now, I think if we're gonna could put some data points together and report out and the, final dispositions, I think that right now, mid-year, we can take a look at that mid-year review, and like Dr. Coleman said, and Mrs. Rose said, they can get that data and then the subcommittee can report out.
Mhm. Well, so we have numbers, I'm sorry, you had something?
I'll work.
So we have the results from last year, how many complaints we got, how many was substantiated, but we don't have any indication of what the accountability was.
So I think at a prior meeting this year, I put together some data that I handed out to all of the board members about the dispositions of the cases from last year.
Maybe I wasn't here.
Okay.
But should it not be part of our report or?
And so, so what I'm suggesting is that once they get the information to us, subcommittee, the staff,
Okay.
staff.
The staff
So,
will-
so let's just make, is everybody clear that I'm asking for suggesting that the data to be reported, the mid-year data, 6 months, to be reported, and then the subcommittee reports out on that. That's what I'm suggesting.
Well, I think I just want to make sure we understand that there's a data subcommittee.
Mhm.
So that would be, I think, led by
Dr.
Dr.
Cole,
Cole.
right,
So if aggregating the data that's interpreted can also give you trends. But then there's a case review subcommittee, which was to look at context
okay,
of the cases for practical trends and things to discuss, which also could go into our annual report, but it'd be more contextual. So rather than us just saying, do we have it, I think we should also ask very pointed questions about what do you want the analysis to be? If you want to analyze it, what questions are we asking and what should we be looking? Because you can slice data 30 different
Right.
different ways, you can take context 30 different types of ways, so just as a board, what's important to us, what we want to convey. And if the subcommittees are going to sort of take that on, then they'll be analyzed.
right, so I was thinking that once you review some of the cases, if some of those cases you're starting to see some trends, that would be something that you would say, hey, let's take a look at this, compare the data to previous data. That's what I was thinking, but, and thank you for that, Mr. Ho. So is that what you're saying too? Okay.
Yeah, so. So yeah, all of that, all of the, look at last year's data, see what's happening, what happened then. Because maybe, I know we have data, but we don't have the context of, what are we seeing overall? What's the picture? What was the picture in our community? There's these crimes, these complaints.
Right.
And these are the end results. Is there something that's going on in our law enforcement agencies that needs to be changed?
So, okay, so I asked this question to you then. I'm
If
sorry.
I could just jump in, so we can definitely start doing some comparative analysis of data. But keep in mind, we only have, well, this year will be 3 years worth of data. So for the comparative analysis piece, that'll be fine. We can compare what we have from 23 was the most complete data we had in some 22, 23, 24. So we can definitely do some comparative analysis to see if there are any trends and any types of the complaints filed or that. But I think I sort of want to circle back to what Mr. Melton said, is that when you're looking at the cases themselves, unless you have some sort of standard measure, it's going to be really difficult to ascertain trends from that content versus what's been aggregated from the numbers. And so I would caution to not try to identify trends from the cases themselves, but on the data that have been aggregated from said cases. And then we can do comparative analysis, because we have complaints by dispositions. A lot of this is in our annual report, but we can definitely put together some trend analysis. I would caution, if we're gonna do that and we're gonna do that now, that we would look at full year data. So we would look at maybe, 23 and 24, and not compare to 25 because it's mid-year. So it's not comparing apples to apples. But like Mr. Melton said, however, you have to sort of be specific of what you're asking for comparative analysis or any kind of analysis for that matter. So just, we could probably get it. It's just, what is it that you want that's in addition to what's in the annual report?
Thank you, Dr. Coleman.
Uh,
Yes, ma'am. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Tate, my apologies.
I appreciate it. I think I probably beat the drum on data reports every month. We agreed to quarterly reports. Also, just want to bring to your attention duties and responsibilities. Review disciplinary outcomes of disciplinary matters resulting from internal and external complaints quarterly. So that's what the legislation says. So I agree, finally picking it up and doing is something, but we should have been doing it. I think that we have to figure out what the data set is so that we collect it and we actually start doing it. So it should be on a quarterly meeting, just like chiefs meetings. If we're supposed to do that quarterly, it should be set up so that we are doing the review of the disciplinary outcomes quarterly, because we have not been doing that previously. We have some complaint data, but disciplinary outcomes has been an absolute black hole.
Okay. And my mistake, but I honestly thought that I had printed out some stuff, that we handed out, but I'll find that email and we send it again. I think that Mr. Rose had the staff print it out, so we had it, but I'll find it. And thank you. So,
I
Mr.
do
James.
want to give you credit that you produced some information on what the ACC was doing and whether cases have been administratively charged, sustained, that absolutely, but not the disciplinary outcome.
So, okay, so.
So I agree, you did give us
So
something. but
can
not
you
that.
repeat what you said again about the quarterly, one more time, I'm going to write it down.
You can take it straight from the legislation. It says,
Okay.
under the responsibilities, review disciplinary outcomes of disciplinary matters resulting from internal and external complaints quarterly.
Okay, got it. All right.
And Ebony, I don't know if Ebony can clarify, there is some disposition data, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, he said yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, got that. Thank you again, Dr. Coleman. Thank you, Ms. Rose. Is that it on that? Thank you. Next up, third quarter chiefs meetings. I think we kind of talked about that earlier. Mr. Melton, we did have submit any questions, so we do have the cutoff date for any additional questions that we may want to ask. And we want to leave it up to the subcommittee to pick those questions.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Mr. Melton.
Just be,
That's what I said.
How do you need help?
It's
If you need help, I'm not letting you help y'all things, but if you need help, we can ask.
That's the job.
What's the data for, I mean, I know I didn't know. What's the data for the next quarterly chief?
July 23rd.
Next meeting.
Are y'all both adding yourselves to it?
Next
Are
meeting.
you?
Yeah, hold on, so I'll get on the same page, so, Mrs. Springs and Mr. Jones, both assist Mr. Melton, okay, thank you.
We just said like we could get up there.
Committee
No. That's why I did that. That's a year. All right, community and external outreach, we kind of went over that with the, yes, sir, with Mrs. Brian and Scott gave us some information. Just to, O'Neill?
Yeah, what I want to, I guess is the right sense community. We had,
Hold on, excuse me, can we get, Mr. O'Neill has the floor, so we can just.
yeah, we had a survey that we just did out. And, Crystal, what is the total so far?
The survey is actually closed now.
Yeah.
Why I wanted
How many?
I think we got
Yeah, yeah, and I think, well, since it's closed out, we need to, uh, ask Crystal, to tally it up if she haven't already done it. Then give us a presentation, what it says, because that also gives us some kind of view on what the public knows about us.
That's correct.
Because of the question, and we need to know that. You know, we do a lot of stuff, all this, but that will give us acting true nature if we're halfway doing our job. Anybody know we're doing if we exist, you know.
Okay.
So it maybe not at, if not the next meeting, we need to have that, have it present that to us in a sense that tell us so we know what we're doing. And, you know, and, I don't, I wish it was still open, that we all did send it out so we had a more
Participation.
participation.
Is there a reason why it's closed? Yes, because it's funded by the grant and the grant was through the end of, this, FY 25. So, as board members, you can actually have another survey that we can start again. So, we're able to purchase the software thanks to the grant that allows us to do innumerable surveys every year. So we can absolutely do another one, but the one that the inaugural one is done.
Okay,
And I do have the data.
okay.
To keep going.
So if we can get that, just send out to us, so we can take a look at that, and maybe after the Chiefs meeting, I think that might give you enough time. Okay, so if you can just send us that, thank
And see,
you.
because the other thing is, maybe I'm wrong on this, Crystal help. You know, it's like, didn't part of our last year, the grant helped us to participate in some of these conferences?
Yeah.
And we should have knew about that, because I'm looking at, and I don't know if it's Mako or whatever it is, you know, so I wasn't here yet last week, but this thing about county officials, till we talk to them, we have a grant. And the grant is from the state, you know, so I don't know why we would have to get approval from.
Is expired.
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah, but I'm saying, if it's a grant and we know we have a grant, some of this there, I don't know why we have to get approval now. And this county approval stuff is coming up again because it came up last year or something like that. And nobody didn't know who was the mysterious county officials that we had to get approval for.
I'm not,
Y'all had in this thing that I just read from the minutes, it said county officials get approval, conversation with county officials. I don't know what that means. Well, who did y'all decide? Who is
So there was some discussion, from some county officials that had some concern, with, law enforcement officers going. That's what some of the concern was. Some of the
But it was either the inspector general or the public safety person, public safety, head.
I can clear something out. We were given grant. One grant, which is called the PACT grant, is what funded Midco last, right, as well as MML this year. The goal of the PACT grant is to have the Police Accountability Board work in conjunction with the law enforcement, what they call community partners. Because Maryland has noticed in certain jurisdictions that they are very separate. If you are citizen oversight and you're trying to oversee law enforcement agencies, if you are essentially orderly and not able to get along, then that doesn't work well together. So the goal of the PACT grant is to have these two communities working together. While they might not necessarily agree all the time, the idea is behind it is to have a certain amount of understanding and mutual respect for the work that each other does in the community. And that's the goal of the PACT grant. And so when I conceived of and wrote that grant to get it funded, that's exactly what I put, that work with the law enforcement community partners. And so that was already in place. So going to the conference was one of the reasons why the grant was funded. So
I don't see why people would have a problem with it, if that's the reason why.
Maybe I don't think that they knew. That's why I'm asking.
That's what I'm saying.
The county officials that were asking me, and citizens, why are law enforcement officers on the, police accountability board to accomplish?
But I'm saying, who?
She said.
You said the PAC grant was the grant that was awarded so that we are able to fund taking the police to bridge the relationship between the community, the LEA's community and the board, correct?
She said it was 2 grants.
Oh, you said two?
There was the PAC grant, but there was also the community awareness grant. The community awareness grant is what funded the survey.
And also the bus.
Right.
PAC actually funded for that.
Community awareness grant.
And that was because when I first came, I noticed that there was not a whole lot of awareness in the community. So I wrote that grant specifically to get the word out.
Okay. PAC grant, community awareness. Got it. And which one was first? Just PAC grant.
And the
Yeah.
community.
Okay. Yeah.
Community awareness.
And is that the reason why you say that the last meeting, and I'm not, I just don't have a problem with that. You saying that we wouldn't.
Yes, so I wanted to talk to the new IG to make sure that I can explain what, Ms. O'Gani explained to me as well.
So the PAC grant is the one that funded for the buses, the signs, it's on the buses.
No,
The PAC grant funded several different, there are several different line items. Part of it was what I call the buses, which was essentially, it was more than just buses, it was also, it was a media campaign essentially.
Size.
Signs, we had electronic signs in the metro, all of that was funded actually by the PAC grant. I sent you all, as part of my briefings in February, we have posters, we have flyers, all of these things were actually funded by this particular grant. And the grant also funded, like I said, I attended at the news conference with the law enforcement.
Just a question that I have, I mean, cool on the grants is great, but the only question that I think to some degree share with Mr. O'Neill is also like, correct me where I'm misunderstanding or missing, like my understanding is that we are an independent body, I mean, we're under the office of the inspector general, but we don't necessarily answer to anyone, like we make decisions that we make, and so I think that's part of the question that Mr. O'Neill has is like, I wouldn't want us to halt activity or to not do something because an elected. I had questions, if you have questions about it, you could ask us and I could let you know, but I don't. My understanding is we as a body don't answer to anybody.
Right, and
I think that's the clarifying.
Yeah.
what I was looking for,
So I
and what I would like to.
completely agree. So not to belabor this, I completely agree, but with the new administration coming in, I thought that it was important to not get, approval or to say yes, that we can go. Just wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to explain it to them. Right, that's all I said. I didn't say that we're not going.
Is it not a matter of
Oh,
having
excuse
the
me,
budget?
I was just saying that it was put on hold for that reason. I never said that we're not going. I just wanted to make sure that I spoke with the new IG, because of the concerns that I did hear. That was it. And I totally agree, we are an independent, autonomous body that should operate that. And I've been stressing that for at least the past 2 years. There have been some roadblocks that I have ran into in the past, but I think that the new administration and the new IG, I think that those roadblocks and things have now subsided. So that's why I just wanted to make sure that, in good faith, understanding, just like the IG said, she wanted to meet with everyone individually, thought that it was important to also that the new administration know what we were doing and the reason why. And so Ms. O'Gani explained this now, she will hear that as well. Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. O'Neill, you're saying that the state don't give the county any money?
Not that, I did not say that. I did not say that. I said she got a stick, one of the grants from the state. That's what I said.
Okay.
Why I said that. But what I'm saying is, what I'm hearing, what you just said, it's like the federal government. We gonna suspend what Biden did, Trump. I'm saying this stuff took place. We still have the grant. We don't stop work because of new administration till they tell us to stop. That's my problem with that. In the grant,
But then, I just to clarify everything about this. If I understand this correct, we don't have the grant.
The grant ended on June.
So the money is not there for whatever we're talking about. So it's not the moot point.
You still have money though, for training.
For training, but I told the grant that they're talking about not
a new point.
the grant. We're talking about for the grant.
No, but there's money funded already for training and conference.
Yes, and to the chair's point is, he's explained what he talked about as far as why was put on hold. We talked about it last meeting. We're still talking about it. It's nothing's gonna change at this point unless we take a vote to change what he said. I think this is just a moot point, like we're just belaboring here at this point. We're just discussing something that we're not getting in agreement about at all. So what are we getting right now?
So, and that's what I was saying, I wanted to give the respect to the new administration, and just sit down and have the conversation with them. That was it, and he explained it, and so that was it. So I think that there's a misconception, unless somebody's being disingenuous, that it's not put on hold. I just wanted to speak. I mean, it's not that we're not growing. I just wanted to give the respect to the new administration coming in and let them know what we were doing. That is it. Period. As my niece says, put period. That was it.
So that's not what the minutes say. Figures.
And with the minutes.
Okay,
That's all.
okay. So, based off of what Ms. O'Guinny said, I think that we can start thinking about, probably forming another survey. So that maybe I can have something, when we do National Night Out, we can have that survey with us as well, at those tables as well. And develop the QR codes, we can have that as well, wrote that down at the community calendar. Question and everything. So, training and education, next item. I know we had talked about it, I was going to ask, Ms. Al, she can schedule something with I think it was, I don't know if it was the sheriff or was I think it was Prince George's police department that wanted to do some scenario-based training. To see if we can get something about that, but we can actually go to them to have that. I think we discussed that at the last meeting.
I don't know, this one is just irritating me, so I'm gonna I think we should do that, but let's figure out the why. Cause literally 3 years ago, February 23, we said we were gonna take implicit bias training. I think it was Dr. Marsh. Never came around. And now that we're putting a lot of things on the plate and we're not accomplishing them. We just keep adding stuff to the list. And I think at some point we have to accomplish the mission of this board. We spent another meeting and we haven't talked about complaints. We haven't talked about disciplinary outcomes. We haven't talked about what this board is established to do. I'm okay with adding other things, but let's get right with what we're supposed to do first. Complaints, disciplinary outcomes, and community outreach.
Anyone else? Maybe announcements, I don't have any. Oh,
Not an announcement, I hope we get to. Today, we had a member, well, like, who spoke on the community, but we should list on here, list on the agenda, opportunity for public input. It shouldn't have been in the middle of a board discussion.
And we agreed to that and what that process was prior to.
Yeah, so if we can, and I'm gonna make some other recommendations to this, but at the very least, we should acknowledge that community input is allowed either at the beginning or at the end.
We do.
Somehow we decided that.
Yeah, we did. We already decided it. We talked about 2 minutes. It used to be on the agenda, then it's gone. That's the thing again.
Not on the
We
agenda.
decided it and then it
That's
just
why.
disappeared and we just started doing something
No,
different.
it was a mistake. I assumed when she started talking that we were going to do it at the end, because we've always done it at the end.
But I'm saying she shouldn't have at
We-
that
we-
Oh,
point.
no, that, but she didn't know.
She didn't know, but if we had had it on the agenda, then we would have, I'm just asking that we put it back on the
I'd
agenda.
also like to add on the agenda, the opportunity for Lisa Kenny to talk about what she is doing, because there's the thing that she talked about, the email that she sends about legislation. I think the community needs to know about that as well. And it would be a great opportunity to inform people who are listening, your synopsis of that information. You give us so much good information, but we absorb it, we don't really share it with them. So I'd like to have an opportunity on the agenda for you to share those things that you're discovering for us.
I think it's more that we need to have the legislative update report. That's
No, what you gotta do is go with the rules and procedures you adopted. If you want something on the agenda, there's a process to make that request. Why spend a year putting together a document and a process and then it magically matters nothing? It's a great idea, but again, we're about transparency, accountability. Let's be transparent, let's be accountable as well.
But community outreach is one of those things.
And ask for it to be on the agenda.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
And call the, we have a place for that. So
I would guess.
how it gets up there, so just do that.
And there are other staff members that have that come. We're gonna work on the agenda format, I think.
Okay.
How's that in accordance? How about that?
I think it is.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Is there a possibility, and I don't know if I asked this question before, that we can get a copy of. Can we get a copy of the job descriptions for the staff?
Okay, and so I will take that request. The program administrator to get the job description, staff member. That wasn't my announcement, but we'll use that time. I think Ms. Giddy had made several announcements together, so that, that was all that I had. I don't know if she had anything for the game. That's the name. All right. That was it. Gentlemen. Oh, please, we weathered the storm, literally. Yeah, so that's a good deal.
That we adjourn the meeting. I'm sorry, Chair.
Oh, no, I was ready, I looked at you and you
I'm
already.
trying to get this
Your
mic
mouth
right.
was in
All
my
right.
hand. Motion made to adjourn, made by Mrs. Fraser, and seconded by Mrs. Ridley. All in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, thumbs up, against, he beat me to it, thank you, Dr. Cole. Meeting adjourned at 8:11 p.m. Everyone have a safe. Thank you. Thank you.